An essential 12-bar blues shuffle and practice routine in the key of E. Check it out, looks and sounds like this. Let's break that down. Okay, getting started breaking that down bar by bar. First, reviewing how to play that shuffle over the 1 chord E. And this is a really cool technique because it's going to combine the hybrid picking, a very cool grooving riff, and also these robust harmonies. All right, so in the first measure we're gonna play. All right, it starts with the open E string, but that's going to be at the end of the measure before we start the shuffle. All right, so that's not gonna be reflected in the tab. So I hit the open E string, then I'm grabbing an E dominant 7 chord, frets 2 on the A, 1 on the G. Pluck those 2 strings together as you hammer on to the major 3rd. Then with your ring finger, you can pluck the high E string open. From there, we're gonna play on the E and A strings, 3, 4, 2, 0, 4, 0. Put those 2 elements together and we have, starting with that open E string. All right, now in the next measure we're gonna play. All right, throwing in those harmonies, frets 5 and 4 of the A and G strings. We're gonna play those 2 notes together using hybrid picking, and then hit the low E string. Sounds great if you can slide up in. Then 4 and 2, then back to the E7 position, hammering on, just like that. So, and which fingers you use as you go through those harmonies is up to you. Very often I find myself starting with my middle and index finger. All right, from there we're gonna play. All right, a raking upstroke on the open strings, a downstroke on an A major, barring with the index finger, and then the open E string sets up the repeat where you can start this shuffle again. So. Now, if you're changing over to the 4 chord, it's very good to throw in a transition that's going to set up the next chord change. So I like to play, all right, the open E string, but instead of just playing 1 single string, I can play all the strings with an upstroke, Stevie Vaughan style, walking up 2, 3, 4 on the low E string, which walks us up to the note A, where we can now transpose this shuffle. All right, you put those first 4 bars together and we have. All right, now, moving on to the 4 chord A, we can play the exact same shuffle, just kind of customize it for the 4 chord. Back to the E. All right, so one more time over the 4 chord A, same exact shuffle, just transposed. And then we're just changing up the ending to move us back to the 1 chord E. All right, so right there, I have my A major chord, barring with my index finger again. I'm gonna play the root note. Then with my middle finger, an upstroke on the chord. 1 N. Next, the same exact roll and riff, but now down to the floor 1 string. 3, 4, 2, 0, 4, 0. All right, now let's find those harmonies. We're gonna have frets 5 and 5, 4 and 3, 2 and 2 with the bar, and then We can do that upstroke on the open strings, 3 on the low E string, and then go to the open E to start the shuffle over E major once again. You put that together and we have everything we need to play over the 4-chord A7. Should sound like this. And then we're back to E. Where we can transition to the 5-chord B7. All right, but so far we have. Let's put the first 8 bars together, the E to the A and back to the E chord. Ready? Should sound like this. A 1, 2, 3, real slow, and now here's the next part. And then right there at the end, we can go into our turnaround, which is really, really cool. All right, so the 5-4 change in this 12-bar blues, we can play. Bass, up, down, up, down. All right, old school blues tricks right here. I started off walking to the B dominant 7 at the end of that measure. So I'm playing O, upstroke on some open strings, 3, O, 1. That walks us up to B7, next measure, bass, up, down, up, down, up. Now I can play a cool little Stevie Vaughan style trick here to get ourselves to the A7 chord. 0, 1, 0 with the hammer pull, A string, slight bend on the 3rd fret low E string, and that gets us to the A chord. So far you have bass, up, down, bass, up. All right, now the next trick is over that A7 chord. There I played bass, up. All right, some hybrid picking there, hitting the bass note, then an upstroke with the middle finger, focusing on the middle strings before. That was down, up, down, up. Starting with my pinky on fret 5, high E string, then going down to a straight A dominant 7 chord, 3rd fret high E string. You put those elements together and we have some really cool classic tricks for the 5-4 change. Alright, and then from there you can go into today's turnaround, which really mixes up some cool techniques. Looks and sounds like this. Alright, so I'm starting off hitting the low E string, followed by an upstroke on the high strings. From there, I'm going major pentatonic, sliding up to the 4th fret low E string, 2 on the A, up to 4. Then we need A dominant 7. Grab frets 2 of the D and the B string and perform a triplet. Alright, that was the A string, then the chord, and then back to the A string. Now do the same thing, but add your index finger to the 1st fret of the A string, that B flat note. So far you have. Alright, then we're gonna get percussive with it. Alright, so right there, I hit a B9 chord shape. Alright, that's the quintessential blues chord. Frets 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, barring with my ring finger. Hit the root note. Alright, then the meat of the chord. Feel free to mix up how you use the pick and your fingers to make your playing more expressive. Alright, then we're gonna play. Alright, that was a slap up to C9, slap, back down to B9. So, from there, we can throw in that SRV style roll once again. 0, 1, 0, 3rd fret low E with the bend, and then resolve to the E7 chord. You put that entire turnaround together, and it should sound something like this. And a little upstrake before that, that roll sounds great. So. Just like that. All right, if you have all those elements down, then let's see if we can practice through the entire routine at a nice slow tempo. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn around. All right, resolving on that E dominant 7 chord. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you need more guidance and also want to unlock a powerful practice tool in my guitar profile, be sure to check me out at patreon.com/Swiftlessons. Enjoy your practice.